So why no? Why aren't you even thinking about professional fighting
Well,
when you get out of college?
it's because I want to like focus on potentially getting like a master's or doctoral in physical therapy, or I either go back and like finish off judo and jiu-jitsu with black belts.
What makes you think you have to do either or?
Depends on what I have to do or what I want to do.
Why don't you think you can do both? Because you probably can.
I could.
Okay.
I don't know if I would have time for both of them.
Okay. So let's just start at the beginning then. So you start Tae-Kwon-Do
Yeah.
at 6 years old?
6.
Do you even remember any of that?
All I really remember is that like there was we were like doing sticks and like just hitting sticks with each other, and then like fighting in the air, and then like there was this little party before the place closed.
Okay, and do you like remember enjoying all of this
Yeah.
as like a little kid?
Yeah.
Okay, so then at 8 years old, you go and do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes.
Right.
And judo too.
And judo, so that's when that judo starts as well.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you fare? How do you remember those days?
Pretty fun. Like my dad said that I would be going only like 2 days, but then I ended up going like the whole 6 days of the week. So
Why is that?
I just like enjoyed it so much that I wanted to go every day.
What was so enjoyable about it at like 8 years old for you?
I don't really know. It's like, I don't know. It's like something I had to do. Like something like outside of school and being at home mostly.
And it was just super fun for you to do?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then, so at 11 is really when you start competing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's talk about that. How does going into competition for you start?
Well, obviously that has like totally changed when I was younger from now. So before, it was like I always got nervous. Like I always like freaked out before a match, and like if I won it, cool. But then if I lost it, I would just be bawling after that match. And it would take me forever to like get over it. But now it's like I get myself pumped up. I'm not as nervous, and then after a match, I don't cry that much. And if I do, yeah, if I do, it's like I get over it like faster than I did before. Like I know how to use my mindset better. I just know how to control it more. And then like if I win, like it's still cool, but like I just move on to the next best thing. Just like with losing, I go on to the next best thing.
Okay. So at 10 years old, you have your actual first pro fight. So it's a first paid fight for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes.
What is that like?
That was like super exciting. I thought of it like, you know how the WWE, I used to watch that when I was
right.
young. So like I thought of it like as the WWE where they like walk out and be like all cool, and then you just like freaking like go at it, like with background music, smoke, lights, everything. It was like just a great opportunity. It's like jiu-jitsu of WWE. It was like amazing.
So when did you start moving up in your belts? Because you were an adult you're an adult in the adult belts very early on, right? When did that start? When did you start moving up in those?
It depends. Well, in my case, it depended on like how many tournaments, or it depended on what your age was. Because like with each belt, it goes on from age or how often you went to tournaments. So you had 4 stripes and like.
And you were going on a lot of tournaments as a kid, right?
Yeah. So like every few tournaments, I would get a stripe, and you would have to get 4 stripes before you go to the next belt.
Okay.
So either if you like win a tournament, like they would promote you at the tournament on the podium, or they would just like promote you at the gym.
Okay. So. And this is all still pre-wrestling, so this is just judo and jiu-jitsu, correct?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I have this little cheat.
Okay,
I have my cheat sheet here. Okay, so 13, you're now a national champion. You're ranked #1 in the United States at 13 in an adult league, correct? And at that point, you're a brown belt?
Or juvenile league, yeah.
Oh, that was still the juvenile league.
Juvenile.
Okay, cool. But you're now at that point a brown belt, an adult brown belt in judo, an adult blue belt in jiu-jitsu at 13. Okay, so how do you
Well, not blue belt in jiu-jitsu yet.
Not yet.
That's
okay.
16.
Okay.
Brown belt was probably like 15. So probably like around purple with 13.
What is that like as a 13-year-old to just like have this massive skill? And can you feel it like over other people at that point?
Yeah.
Like what is that? How are you beating? You're beating adults at this point still, right? Juveniles. Okay, but you were going with boys.
Yes.
And girls. Okay. So what is all that like?
It's pretty like, I mean, it's the experience too. It's like with boys, it's obviously different because they're like more upper body, and then girls are more with their hips. So.
Right, because of different centers of gravity.
Yeah. So it's like difference with like going with each other. So like with boys, I would have to like use more muscle than, technique. But with girls, I would use more technique than rather like muscles.
What do you think you were better at?
Probably the technique part.
Okay. How this is all just very. So okay, 13. Let's keep talking about judo real quick before we get into the wrestling stuff. You're traveling a lot, right? At that point, right? There's all over the country. These are national tournaments. Like, how are you mentally dealing with this stuff? Because there's a lot of kids. Like all the travel. There's still school, right? You're still got to worry about that. Like, how are you balancing all this at 13?
I believe at that time, if I had schoolwork, I would like do that before practice, or if I had like a lot of it, I would just like stay home and obviously do it because that's more important than doing sports. But if I didn't really have that homework, I would just go practice to practice to practice. And
why?
Because I loved it so much.
What about it is like, because that's what's so interesting to me is like, what about the combat sports that makes you love it so much that you're just doing multiple disciplines, you're completely dominating multiple disciplines. So it's like, what is that motivating thing for you in combat sports specifically? Because you really don't like a lot of other sports, right?
Right.
It's like specifically these. So what is it? Do you even know, or is it just you just love it and that's all you know and care about?
Know. It was just like what I was brought up in. So I think that's like why I love it so much, because I was brought into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, so when does wrestling start for you?
I think that started at 9.
Okay.
I think.
And that was all private, and that was pretty much because there was in Vegas. I don't think there's still no sanctioned girls wrestling,
Not
correct?
yet.
Yeah.
Not in for a couple of years.
So you guys move out here when you're 14. Yeah, when you're 14. At COVID year, that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Right. And then you move. So you finally get into Liberty, right? So how was that going into Liberty, into that wrestling program, and basically like on paper, you're probably the most accomplished. Like there's probably on paper not a lot of people who could beat you. So what is that like entering into a whole new school, into a whole new program like that?
That was honestly really stressful because for middle school, I was totally online. I was on homeschool. So I was just like at home and then doing all my work and then going to practice. But now I'm going to a real school in high school where I don't have any friends or don't know one.
Hold on one sec. Let's get rid of this fly real fast. I'm going to pause real quick. Okay. All right, sorry.
It's good.
Okay. That's better. Okay, so wrestling. So it's a big culture shock going from your obviously homeschool to now you're with thousands of kids.
Yeah. Right?
Now and you're in a whole new program, whole new state. Like how are you starting to deal with all of that?
At first I was stressed, but then actually Bella and Sarah, our previous teammate, she's in her second year of college, they both actually reached out to me like asking how I was feeling going into high school, how I was feeling going into the new team, and like just introduced themselves, and like that actually made me feel more like confident about myself like going into this. So like as I was getting to know them, I was getting to know other girls, the other girls on the team, the guys on the team, people at school, and then like I just had a bunch of friends that I didn't like even realize until like during that school year, pretty much.
Okay. So how does freshman year go for you?
I would say freshman year went pretty good. I didn't expect myself to go for like third at state. Like I thought I wasn't even gonna make state because high school is a whole new level than middle school. So freshman year was good. The school was good. I actually really liked the school. I really liked my classes. And the program I really enjoyed too. Like, sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, the program was good. I really like enjoyed it, and then I started going to Grindhouse as well, and that got me like a whole different ball game than my other club.
I was gonna say, was that like another big skill jump for you? Was
Yeah.
going into Grindhouse?
Yeah.
Because like for everybody who doesn't know, Grindhouse is probably one of the top wrestling clubs in like
Definitely.
the entire nation.
Definitely.
For specifically wrestling, right? And is that where freestyle started for you, or were you already doing?
I was already doing freestyle.
Okay. Because just in college, it's only freestyle and possibly Greco, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
And like, are you better? Do you like Greco better than
I
actually
like freestyle better, but my dad says that I'm better at Greco because of
the judo, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's go to sophomore year. That's the big year.
That's the big year.
Okay. So up until sectionals? Let's talk about that. Right. How does up until sectionals go for you?
Well, school-wise, it was really good. My classes were still pretty good. Wrestling-wise, I was just my goal that year was to try to go undefeated and make the finals. That was my goal. Whether or not if I won state or not, I just wanted to be in the finals.
Okay, so up until state, were you undefeated? What, you weren't? I thought you were.
No.
Who beat you?
Bray.
Oh, that's earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Okay, I totally forgot about that. So Bray's the only one who gave you any
Yes.
L's this season. Okay, that's cool. Okay. So sectionals, let's talk about that. 'Cause sectionals, that's where I meet you.
Yes.
And for everyone at Barry Goldwater, I think it was kind of like what we got to see what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you guys went at it, that was absolutely it was out of nowhere that you beat her, right? So like that was a cool situation for me when I meet all you guys. We go to state, and then you guys both just annihilate at state, right? So this is a really important story I wanted to tell you because nobody else really knows this. Actually, Danae is probably the only one who knows this. So at sectionals, right? That's when I meet Danae.
Yeah.
Right, and I hire her as our photographer. Right, so we go to state. For some reason, okay, and I have no idea why. After sectionals, all of our girls, I thought there was none of Goldwater girls wrestling Liberty girls. I thought you guys already did that, and I was like, cool. We don't have anybody wrestling each other, right? I don't know why this was in my head the whole time at state. So I told Danae, like, hey, you get me some dope pictures of my girls. I'll get you dope videos of your girls, right? Because I still think we don't have buddy wrestling each other.
Right.
I didn't realize that you and Bray were going to wrestle each other until you were actually getting ready to wrestle each other. And I was like, oh no. And I felt horrible about it because like, I honestly thought that wasn't going to happen. So now I'm in Bray's corner, like rooting against, like, so I felt awful about you can ask today. I felt terrible about that whole situation. So like, I wanted to apologize for that because like, I never meant for that to happen.
Well, that was
so
okay.
like,
I didn't realize.
I know, but nobody did. You know what I mean? It felt wrong to me, that whole, so I wanted to tell everybody that. So that was a cool little story. But then, so what happens at state?
At state, I lose by 1.
Right, and after beating her by one at sectionals, right? That was how do you feel that match went? Like just personally.
I thought it was a really good match. I mean, all of our matches was pretty good. It was really close each time, and she gave me a good fight. Like out of my freshman year and my whole sophomore year, she was the only one that really gave me like a true feel of like who I should really be wrestling.
Yeah, because like on paper, you're better. You know, you have more skills. You have a bigger skill set than she does, right? She doesn't have the judo. She's a blue belt in jujitsu, but a juvenile blue belt. But I mean, I have video of myself actually filming that, and I just, you know, because it was a good match, and I'll put a lot of it up here. Are you disappointed at all?
I was at the time, but not so much anymore because I learned what I did wrong, and I focused on that. So
what helped you get over that
mindset?
How do you work on that? Like, what is because you actually do have a really strong mindset. Because like even at state, any interaction I had with you at state was just like you were just kind of locked in, you know. And, so how do you deal with what's your mental like training kind of?
Whenever I lose, I just try to reset my mind. I just like try to reset my whole mind, if that makes sense. I just said that twice. Anyways, yeah, so I just like blank it out. I think about what I did wrong and try to make it not happen again. And if it does, I know what I need to work out in the room. But I just like reset, and then I just move on to the next best thing.
Okay, that's awesome. So what's this year now? How do you feel about this year going in? You're gonna be like you're the most dominant right now of I think any Arizona female wrestler out there. So like all of that expectation come on you. Do you even feel like that at all?
No, I don't feel any pressure.
Good. That's awesome. Because like, you're gonna take a state title this year. You, Bella, like I think probably Claire, hopefully Bridget. We'll see how many state titles come out of Liberty. But you guys are definitely gonna do another team state title, most likely. What are you most excited about this year?
I'm just excited for season to start. I'm excited for all the tournaments that we're gonna do. Team bonding. The goal is to try to be undefeated and go to state, win, hopefully.
College.
But college.
So what are you looking for? Are you actively looking at colleges right now?
Yes.
What are you doing?
Since like 8th grade, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have like a dream college or?
No, not any particular.
You're not like I want a D1 Ivy League, anything like that?
No.
Is it in state, out of state? Doesn't matter. Just a good wrestling program.
Good wrestling program, good PT program.
Okay. And is that wrestling scholarship? That's what you want?
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I want to try for a academic one as well.
Okay. I can definitely get that. So how are you preparing like this season? Do you even still focus on like jiu-jitsu or judo, or is it like all wrestling now?
Not as much of that because it's all focused on wrestling. Because I want to get that scholarship, and that's what I just want to focus on right now.
Okay.
I mean, I sometimes do it on the side, but it's not like a laser focus like wrestling is.
And you don't feel like competing or anything in judo anymore?
Maybe.
It's just the wrestling tournaments are the most. Okay. Is it getting your national wrestling ranking up? Is that important to you?
Yeah.
Okay, where do you want to be? Obviously, one.
At least like I'm in the upper 20s, so I want to be like.
Oh, and explain like your ranking right now. You know what I mean? So you're nationally ranked in women's freestyle, right? As just an adult, right? Like there is no 16U or anything like that.
Right.
You are 19th in the country for girls freestyle wrestling, and you're 16.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like that's awesome. Like you should have no problem getting a scholarship. You just need to get like all of your stuff out there. You know, good videos, stuff like that. So this is gonna be cool. It's gonna be a cool season.
Yeah.
Like I can't wait. I'm
excited.
Yeah, we're gonna come do this at the Liberty Room.
All right.
Hopefully we can get a bunch of girls on that one. So as someone who's been doing this since they were literally a child, like, do you have any advice for any young girls like coming up?
Always try something new. Like even if you don't feel like you want to, like, just try something new, because maybe you will like it. And if you do, be thankful for that opportunity, for trying it out.
What do you do on days that you don't want to go to practice? You just want to lay in bed, do nothing. Or do you even have those days?
Not a lot. I do have a quote on my mirror that does say, the days you don't want to are the days you need to. And those days are usually the best days of practice that you'll ever have.
That's awesome. That's actually that's a perfect way to
Yeah.
end right there. That was great motive. That's good. No, this was awesome. Like, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
After what, 3 reschedules?
Sorry.
No, it's all good. No, this was great. Like, you are really like a highly accomplished combat sports athlete. Like, it's crazy that a lot of you, like, nobody knows about you girls. You know what I mean? And hopefully we can bring this out and like show who you are and get you an awesome scholarship and everything. So you're gonna come back and do it again?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you.